So, what are your passions? There's this expression, find something that you love to do and you'll never work a day in your life. It's a nice axiom. I don't know if I really believe it anymore. I like to do many things. But for a long time, what I really like to do is felt like work. In part, that's why I'm changing what I'm doing. For instance, I really love making homebrew beer. I like coming up with recipes. I like doing the research on the ingredients that I want, the flavor profiles of the ingredients, the flavor profiles of the hops, the malts, and how I want to steep it, and what type of mash I want to do, and whether I want to do extract, and whether I want to do full grain, all those aspects. How I want to do the fermentation, what temperatures I want to do the fermentation, what yeast I want to use, if I want to do secondary, what I want to put in the secondary, how I want to bottle it, all aspects of it. Not just the recipe, throw it together, done. And I like to cook. I like to come up with some of my own creations, follow some recipes, and get ideas of all the spices and how they all interact with one another. And then when I go out to eat sometimes, I will figure out what I want to eat, and then I'll figure out what I want to drink with it. And I will pair these things together. And it's never a wine, because wine's awful, nasty, and wine's only good for cooking. Yet, when I think about going pro, and I have friends of mine who would want me, they keep saying, you need to go pro, Lape. To me, if I were to do that, it would turn it into a job. Whereas I can see myself doing a recipe and seeing how the results are, and maybe even doing a recipe over and over to perfect it and get it exactly the way I want, and get consistency and be able to repeat it. I don't know if I could see me doing that full time, and without it feeling like drudgery. Oh, I got to make beer today. Back in the 70s and 80s, there was a guy, I think it was Dunkin' Donuts, had a commercial, time to make the donuts. This guy's trudging in at 3 a.m. every morning to make the donuts so that you could get them at 6 o'clock in the morning and have fresh donuts. It was drudgery. And 25 years ago, when I was in high school, last weekend we went through the garage and I found all kinds of old stuff. And I found old computer programs that I wrote that have never been typed in. I used to write them, especially in BASIC. I used to just write them. And eventually I started writing things in C, and I've done other things. And some of them have sort of been put together, but most of them never saw the inside of a computer. They were never typed in, they were saved on a hard drive or a floppy disk or anything like that. Because that's what I really like to do. And I went into computer science, and it changed the way I code, and it made things better. And for many years, I would go to work and code, and I'd come home and code and do all kinds of things. Now, I don't really want to code anymore. I started to understand that my experiences were better leveraging with someone else. I find great joy in helping people understand and step forward into the light, no matter what that is. And it started actually in the church I was going to in Marion, Ohio, where I had the opportunity to we took like spiritual gifts tests and all these things throughout the total congregation. And people filled out a questionnaire, what they like to do, what they want to do, how they want to help the church. And I got to interview. In fact, not only did I get to interview, I got to help train people to do the interviews. I was in a train-to-trainer session, and I turned around and trained people to do the interviews. And those first few are rough, and you're nervous, and sometimes it was on the phone, and usually we like to do it face-to-face because you want to see the person's facial expressions and see what really lights them up. Because maybe they know they want to teach, and they want to teach young kids, and maybe they don't know if it's third grade or 3-year-olds. And going through the questionnaires with them, I was like, this is where I really want to be. I found great joy. This is back in 1999, so 13 years ago, finding great joy in people stepping forward, helping them, not pushing them, but helping them understand, here's my gifts, and they had a desire to share those with people and help them find how they could utilize and where they wanted to go. And sometimes people would try things. They would try the three-year-olds class. They would try a 6-year-olds class. They would try third graders and second, whatever. And they would find, oh my goodness, fourth grade, awesome. And then I got away from that. I went back to coding, and it just kind of put it back in the, I never saw how I could make money from that. What was the problem? A profession or whatever. And about 5 years ago, I really started to wonder, what in the world did I want to do with things? And now, over the last year, for 20 years, I've been a serial entrepreneur. I've tried all kinds of things, Amway, Herbalife, Streamline, the iMall, all kinds of things. I've sold photography equipment on eBay. I should have opened an Amazon store back when they started in the 90s, because I had a chance, and I said, I didn't want to do that. And what I've discovered is the commerce side of a business, selling of products, really isn't me. And it never has been. I can suggest products to people, and I can make recommendations, and somebody buys off my recommendation. That's awesome. But being that sales guy calling, hey, how much software need to buy it? And that's not me. But what is me is helping people realize their potential. I'd done internet marketing years ago, and it was the Wild West back then, and I put stuff in, all kinds of websites all over the internet. Placed ads, and I bought Don Lapre's system, and I bought this guy's system, and I did some of my own stuff, and I made a little bit of money here and there. But again, I was selling something as opposed to being something. And over the last year, that's what I've realized, is that the videos that people resonate the most and watch the most is where I'm being something, not where I'm trying to sell something. Some of my things on marketing and things, they're selling the idea of what to do. They're, you do articles, and you do blog posts, and you do various types of ads or videos or whatever. That's not being anything. That's selling the ideas of what to do. So several months ago, I started doing more hands-on. Last year, my most watched video was literally done spur of the moment in North Carolina when we were on vacation. I asked my daughter, I've got an idea for something people have been asking me about, photography stuff. Why? Because I was being an instructor. And it's on a flip camera, and it's handheld, and we couldn't do things. It was so bright I couldn't read the back of the camera. I had to go underneath, and it was loud, and it was, all the things that you don't want in a video. And yet, people love it. Most of my responses have been that video, or my videos on my INTJ and my Myers-Briggs stuff. I've had a few things on the Danny Johnson, and I need to get back to their other three. There's 3 more gems, and I never covered them. And here I am being. And this is what really propels me. What really propels me out of my introversion, because this is why I'm not an extrovert. I know people say, hey, you're an EFJ and ENTJ, and I've had 3 or 4 other personality types people have put on me just based on my videos. And it takes a lot of energy for me to do these. And over the last year and a half, maybe 2 years, I've really started to get out of my introversion shell. It wasn't like this. And be more personable, because I am a personal guy. I like comedy and things, but I don't necessarily like the spotlight for the spotlight's sake. I'm not going to stand up and pound my chest and say I'm the best at anything. In fact, even when I'm awarded the best at something, I'm still embarrassed from it. Even in 6th grade, first-year strings student, and I win the musicianship award for the entire school for stringed instrument. And I was a bit embarrassed. Now, what was really funny is I had a broken arm by the end of the school year when I got the award. But there are certain things that I can do very well naturally, and there are certain things I have to work very hard at. And being open for so long is something that is slowly becoming second nature. Why? Because I'm being myself. I'm being more energetic. I'm being someone on camera, reaching out into the YouTube universe and trying to make a connection. And the things that I've started to get into the last several months, and some of the things over several weeks, I mean, now I'm branching out and not just marketing on the internet, but marketing on cell phones. I'm working on an app that's going to be in the App Store. I'm hoping in a couple of weeks, but the problem is I got to make some decisions really soon so I can get it out there in 2 or 3 weeks, maybe a month at the most. And yeah, you'll be able to click on it. And I'm going to probably tie it into my blog. That's the thing I haven't made a decision on. Is it going to be some of my Pro U business? Is it going to be in the Empower Network stuff? Or is it going to be my blog? And I think I'm starting to really, the Road to the Future blog is where I'm really starting to concentrate and putting there. Because that's where I'm getting some of the most feedback. I'm getting some from my regular WordPress blog, but most of my feedback's coming from the Road to the Future. And that's the whole point of that blog, is the Road to the Future. It's something that we travel together upon. It's not you buying what I'm selling. It's you and I walking together. And if what I have to offer as a product is extremely helpful to you and extremely beneficial to you for what you need right now, excellent. If it's not, it's still excellent, because we're walking together. We are learning from one another, and perhaps what you need is actually in that direction, and what I need is in this direction. And for that short time, we're walking side by side, helping each other, helping other people up off the ground, dusting them off, helping them on their way. Because that's the thing about community, is help one another. The government doesn't like to help people. It likes to make them dependent. And my whole thing is to make people independent. So if you want to know where my real passion lies, it's in that independence. And it comes through in cooking, because I'm doing what I want. I take the ideas of other people, I take how these flavors interact, and I produce what I want. And if someone likes it, very good. If no one likes it, very good. I don't care. It's not a competition. I produce something that I'm proud of, and if no one else recognizes it, I'm still proud of it. And whether it's a beer, whether it's a business, it doesn't matter. And that's where my real passion lies. And to watch people take these tools and create their own future and create their own environment and prosper is unbelievable. And unlike a lot of things I've done in the past, MLMs and things, and that's going to be in another video, because people are asking me why, am I against MLMs? And I have 4 Twitter accounts because I'm just crazy. And one is in the MLM headaches. And so I've gotten quite a few messages and emails and tweets and things recently, and I think I want to put them in one video and explain what the ideas are. So, but that is where my passion lies. And it comes through in these videos. It comes through when I talk to people. When people sign up on my website and they say, I'm interested in more information about what you're doing, and I talk to them and I tell them, here's what the kind of things, and I find out where they are. I do the form, right? I find out about their family and their friends a little bit, what they do for a living, what they do for fun, and what they're looking to do and how they're motivated. And I had a blog post a few days ago called, I don't care about your dreams. Okay? And I don't. I want to know what you deeply, deeply, deeply desire. You know why dreams? Because dreams are just, they're passive. Desire is something that's going to burn to your core. When little kids decide that they're going to be the best at whatever, and they're going to be in the NFL, or they're going to be in the Olympics or whatever, that is a desire. The dream is the gold medal, right? The dream is to be in the Super Bowl. The dream is to win a national championship, but the desire is to be the absolute best. And that's what gets them up in the morning, it gets them to practice, it gets their schoolwork done, it gets them to practice in the afternoon, and it drives their parents nuts, and their parents catch the desire, and they want to help their child be the best. And that's all about desire. So that's what I want to know about. I want to know about what you desire, what you absolutely keeps you up, positive or negatively. It doesn't matter if it's a negative, that your desire is more money because you have all these debt and you're worried about if you die, your family's going to be kicked out to the street and you want them all taken care of. Or maybe your desire is to take care of your parents or a relative, or maybe your desire is to travel everywhere and to not work. It doesn't matter. Maybe you want to own your own business. Maybe you have a widget that you want to get out to the world and understand how to do it. Maybe your desire is similar to mine and you want to learn, get better tools to help other people. It doesn't matter what your desire is. That's just that you have one and you share it. And you let that desire get down into your heart and burn like an eternal flame. and it keeps you driving and going. So tell me what your desires. Let's talk. Let's get together. Let's understand one another. Let's see how we can help one another, and let's be supportive of one another, and let's find other people we can help and move along, because that is my deep, deep, deep desire, is to see other people come to life, open up, and bloom before my very eyes and before the world's very eyes, and say, here I am, and I am brilliant.